This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, police on Grand Bahama are reinforcing the message of road safety. Today's proactive approach coming as police have become concerned about the number of traffic deaths taking place on the streets of Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard has the story.
Grand Bahama's traffic fatality toll now stands at 8. This is a bit disturbing for traffic police, and they have launched a campaign to promote road safety. Wednesday morning, officers were out bright and early, disseminating road safety tips to the motoring public. Officer in charge of the Traffic Division, ASP Kenwood Taylor, says that speed is a major factor in fatal accidents. Wednesday's initiative is a heightened effort to sensitize the public to drive with due care and attention and adhere to the rules of the road.
We'd also like to use this opportunity to give some safety tips, some concerns that we from the Traffic Division have been encountering. Persons driving their motor vehicles without seat belts. They are also permitting passengers, infants, kids to drive their vehicles, to drive in their vehicle without being properly affixed with a seatbelt. There's also a proliferation of persons that are texting and driving. A vehicle is 4,000 pounds, 2 tons. And if you don't give 110% in driving and utilizing that vehicle properly, you will cause an accident.
As the country prepares to ring in the 42nd anniversary of independence, Taylor is encouraging residents to celebrate responsibly.
We're also here to send a clarion call for the weekend because we're going into the holiday weekend. We have a lot of individuals that are there. They're going to be driving their motor vehicles, having alcoholic beverages. We want to send a stern warning from the police that we'll be out and about. The various divisions will be conducting their initiatives, road checks, and just ensure that members of the public have a safe holiday.
Inspector Alfonso Pinder is also reminding motorists to pay attention to pedestrians and to drive defensively. He also noted that 2 new initiatives have been put in place to slow down the public: a new roundabout on East Sunrise Highway and new speed rumbles on Ponciana Drive.
We send the same message out to those persons on motorcycle that are riding without protective helmet, those persons that are drinking and driving, and we say we want to keep Grand Bahama clean, and when you're done, please secure your garbage, your bottles, and dispose of them in the proper way. And so we're going to be out in good numbers, and like Mr. Taylor said, zero tolerance to any traffic offender.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
An 18-year-old of Bonefish Street, Caraval Beach, was arraigned before the court this morning in connection with Grand Bahama's latest murder. Larry Amont Artelis appeared before Magistrate Rankin Johnson for the murder of 31-year-old Vernon Smith of Williamstown. Smith's body was found outside a vehicle that had crashed into a pine tree not far from the Church of the Ascension in Lucaya last Thursday. Police had initially linked his death to a traffic accident, but following further investigation and with the assistance of a pathologist, it was determined that Smith had suffered stab wounds to the upper chest. In court today, Artilis was not allowed to enter a plea on the murder charge. A preliminary inquiry into the matter will be heard on Tuesday, the 29th of September. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services until trial. He was represented by attorney Simone Brown. Tonight, the family of 31-year-old Vernon Smith is speaking to the media. It has been 1 week now since his death, and family members say they are trying to come to terms with the loss of the young man who had a promising future. Joan Davis-Roll has a report.
It has been a roller coaster of emotions since the tragic incident. Reflecting on the life of the fallen father, son, and brother is sister Sania Williams.
It's been a very difficult, I would say, time for the family, my mother, myself, and his daughter, and of course everybody else who's mourning him at this moment. And he was actually living in Nassau, working, and he'd only come home to visit, spend a little time with her, and then unfortunately the incident happened. So it's again a very tough time for us at this moment, but all in all, he was a good brother. Every brother and sister has their challenges, but that's still my brother, my mother's only son.
Coming to grips with her brother's death has been a struggle, as the family tries to wrap their minds around the fact that their loved one is gone forever.
The main thing is you want to find clarity and you want to get to the truth of the matter. So that's the main thing. Any person that is dealing or facing an issue like this, of course, it's very traumatic, and it's something that you have to process. But I can say the support from friends and family has been awesome. And then, our trust and our faith is in God that, the truth of everything in the midst of it is, going to come out, and everybody that can actually begin their healing process. And it's not just for us, it's for the family of the alleged person as well. So we have to consider that there are multiple persons that have been affected by this sequence of incidents.
Meanwhile, back at the homestead, the tranquil community of Williamstown has lost a son of the soil. Vernon Williams was a construction worker and he grew up in the coastal community. His grandfather says news of his tragic death sent shockwaves throughout the close-knit area.
When I got the news, I was right here at my house, and it went through my mind. I didn't know what to think because the kind of quiet, nice young fella he is, not because it's my grandson, but I should know, all my children and grandchildren them, because they come around me, everyone stop, and especially him. Papa, how you feeling? Papa, how you doing? Papa, you want me to do this or want me to do the next thing? Because I sort of retired, and they sure see that I'd be taken care of. That's why it went to me so hard.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
2 men, a Cuban American and a Cuban national, were arrested for failing to clear Bahamas Immigration and Customs and entering an unauthorized port of entry. The 2 men arrived on board a 27-foot vessel from West Palm Beach on Sunday evening and docked at a pier in the Xanadu Beach area. The men reportedly left the area and returned the following day, and that is when they were arrested. The boat was subsequently seized and the captain fined $5,000 by customs. The 2 were handed over to immigration officials yesterday and arraigned before the court. They pled guilty to illegal landing and were each fined $300 or a year behind bars. The 2 were able to pay the fine and were ordered to be deported. But before that could happen, they were turned over to police to be charged with possession of an illegal firearm, which was found on board the boat. They are expected to be arraigned before the court on the illegal firearm charge. A United States attorney championing the cause for Bahamians and taking those concerns to Capitol Hill. They relate to allegations being levied against some officials at the United States Visa Office in Nassau. Joan Davis Roll reports.
She is a United States-based immigration attorney with a Bahamian connection, and recently took what she described as the plight of many Bahamians all the way to the White House in the United States capital of Washington, D.C.
A number of trends that I've noticed that I believe are going to cause the Bahamas long-term trouble if we don't get them addressed now are some issues that are happening at the visa office. There's a significant number of visa denials, more so than they had been in the past. And I want to say the the denials had always been pretty low, but in the last 10 years, they've more than doubled. And in fact, what I highlighted when I was at the White House was that we have a rate of denials or a percentage of denials that is comparable to that of Japan, who was a former enemy of the United States. And the Bahamas has always been a friend to the United States. So I thought that was something that's worth looking at.
Attorney Donald Russell Love says a myriad of concerns by a number of Bahamians have reached the office in South Florida, and as a result, she was compelled to champion their cause.
I got invited to speak on a panel on Capitol Hill, and they allowed me to speak about immigration issues at the border. Of course, I deal with the English-speaking Caribbean, period. The Bahamas happens to be one of a country that gets a lot of attention from me. So I highlighted some of the particular issues in our country, in the Bahamas, because we have a unique situation because we have pre-clearance, whereas the other Caribbean countries don't. Why that's important is because you clear customs and immigration here in the Bahamas if you leave through Freeport or you leave through Nassau. And there have been some issues that occur specifically at the borders in pre-clearance that you won't see in other countries. So I needed to highlight those, and I needed to try and get an answer as to why, they're at the borders to protect. The Bahamas has never been any direct threat to America. And I've been to the visa office with a client. It is a horrible experience. They asked me to leave and told me that they would call security for me because I was with my client. And attorneys aren't. And I was gracious enough, I was like, I know, but my client had just had surgery. I wanted to come in to help him with everything. But if you want me to leave, I'll leave. They were like, we're going to call security. So I know that what the clients are telling me is the truth. It's the truth because I've experienced it myself.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now, the United States Embassy spokesperson Nita Brown responding to the claims through a press statement, noting that the number of visas issued to Bahamians continues to increase. Brown saying the most common visa sought is the B1 and B2 visa for temporary business or pleasure travel. That's for tourism, shopping, and short business meetings. According to Brown, in 2013, 6,995 Bahamians were issued a B1 or B2 visa. In 2014, that number increased to 8,206 Bahamians, or by 17%. As for the rate of refusal for B1, B2 visas for temporary business or pleasure travel, Brown says that has declined over the past 3 fiscal years. In 2012, there was a drop by 12.9%, in 2013, 11.6%, and last year, 9.2%. The statement continues that due to the increased demand for visa services and limited waiting room space, the embassy is only able to grant entry to applicants and the parents of minor applicants, and that the embassy is unable to accommodate additional visitors who would like to accompany visa applicants. Stay with us. The Northern Edition will continue in a moment.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Independence celebration set for the Freeport area tomorrow night in honor of the country's 42nd anniversary of independence. A cultural extravaganza and flag-raising ceremony will take place at the Independence Park beginning at 8 p.m. tomorrow. The cultural show will be followed by an ecumenical service organized by the Grand Bahama Christian Council. The night of celebrations will close out with a Junkanoo rush out. Members of a local sorority chapter doing their part to impact the lives of young people during the summer break. 14 high school students took part in the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Ascend summer program that is geared towards teaching professional ethics. Vice President of the Grand Bahama chapter, Shelley Stewart Roll.
This is an initiative from our corporate office in which we are now concentrating on the young men and the young ladies of our country between the 9th through 12th grades, getting them ready for the outside world after high school.
Senator Tanisha Tynes, who is also a member of the sorority, says the young people also got to learn more about the United Nations.
They picked a country out of a bag, and they were told that that's the country they will represent and present an opinion on what that country did towards globalization. So these young people are being informed not just on local information but global information, and we are a part of a global village. The more we know about that, the better equipped our young people will be when competition really starts to kick in.
Participants Krista Adderley and Dion McKinney say they are now more empowered, having experienced the one-week professional camp.
They taught us how we should dress when applying for a job, how to fill out a resume, what information is needed in our cover letter, and we visited the Rand Nature Center where they taught us about pollution and the different national parks, and we walked the trail.
We also had the different speakers such as Miss Billy Bow, who spoke about time management and all of these different topics, and it was just a good experience, a wonderful experience, and I truly enjoyed this program.
It's time now for Ask the Doctor.
Welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Marcia from Freeport sent this question. My granddaughter, who is 15, woke up this morning and her bottom lip was really swollen. This happened about a month ago. What is causing this? I can tell that you are very concerned, Marcia, and you should be, especially since this is the second time this has happened. A swollen lip, or what we call edema, can be painful, but it may also be a sign of a type of allergic reaction called anaphylaxis, which requires immediate medical attention. There are many causes for swollen lips, one of which can be an allergy. An allergy refers to an exaggerated reaction by our immune system in response to exposure to certain foreign substances, called allergens, which are usually seen by the body as foreign. Our immune system then generates a response or reaction such as lip swelling or itching. Examples of allergens include pollen, dust mites, molds, animal proteins, latex, foods like nuts and shellfish, and even medications. Angioedema is also a type of allergic reaction, but it's a little bit more serious. It causes swelling deeper in the skin and can be accompanied with hives or swelling of the lips, hands, feet, and eyelids, which can be more dramatic. Some allergic reactions can be very severe, and symptoms such as shortness of breath, lightheadedness, confusion, or trouble breathing can occur. In such cases, please call 919 or go to the nearest emergency room immediately. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
Everybody, it's time for sports and Ricardo Lightborn. Let's get cooking. The American Caribbean Baseball Stadium is a venue for a baseball clinic that was held over the weekend. Natalia Hall was at the ballpark.
Baseball friend to Grand Bahama and of the Miami Marlins fame, Mario Signorello held a baseball clinic on Saturday at the American Caribbean Baseball Stadium for youth players 12 and under. Over 40 kids turned out, and Signorello says he enjoys teaching the kids and he has high hopes for them.
You can tell the kids who have been through these clinics because they are learning themselves, because they can retain what we've done before, and the kids now become the coaches across there. So this way they're able to help each other pass this. Ricardo made comment to me, how much do they know? How much do the kids know? And I go, they're like a sponge. I go, they've learned in everything they pick up, and they don't have bad habits because they're learning it from the beginning. So to me, this is a lot of fun for us to be out here.
Signorello plans to return on July 31st for flag football, basketball, and baseball.
Last year we brought 18 teams and 700 people, and part of our commitment to GB Power when they sponsored us is we would do some things outside back and for the community. So with this weekend, this is a planning session for me coming over here.
Italia Hall, 7S Total Sports.
And NBA legend Kenny Anderson spent a few days on Grand Bahama, and for worthy cause, folks. You see, the occasion was the Legends of Grand Bahama Jam was held at the YMCA gym, and the NBA legend shared many of his life skills and to the campers to point out the fact that growing up was not easy for him, and playing basketball, especially in the NBA, is a bit far-fetched.
My neighborhood, it was kind of crazy. Friends and family that I grew up with was drug dealers, doing all the wrong things, but those guys took care of me. It was, you know, it was like they was Robin Hood. You know what I'm saying? They would sell drugs or whatever and keep me from selling it, but give me $50 and $20 to get something to eat or buy me a pair of sneakers. So it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? In my neighborhood, these guys, was like this old saying, it's a village. It takes a village to raise a child.
Well, growing up in New York was tougher for Kenny, and he survived. He says that that's the message to kids all over the world, that you can survive regardless.
It's a shame what they did. I don't condone it, but that's what they did to survive, and they helped me. So, you know, and nowadays it's sad because they're not some of the guys that's doing it and all over the world, and they taking advantage of the young kids instead of saying, hey, you got some talent. Stay off these streets. They out, you know, don't sell this, don't sell that. They introducing it to them where I wasn't introduced. They made me stay away from it. So it's just a blessing that I survived. I could have easily went the left way. That's why I always thank God, and I had basketball.
Well, the Colorado DeVoe and the Castaways family hosted Kenny during his stay here in Grand Bahama, and I tell you, it was great to have the legend here with us. Also on Independence Day, this is for Sabrina and all the girls here, the Pro Fitness and Health hosting their second annual Fun Run Walk in 8 Mile Rock under the theme, Sabrina, United We Stand in Fitness and in Health. Kimberly Mullings has this one.
The Pro Fitness and Health team is at it again, with their annual Fun Run Walk set to take place on Friday. Agnes Timothy, the aerobic instructor, says they were inspired by last year's great turnout.
We had over 300 strong, and the community came together great for us last year, and we want to put something back together again to bring the community back together again. And what best way to bring the community together than on Independence Day?
Agnes says it's important to the Pro Fitness and Health group, seeing that 8 Mile Rock is the largest settlement on the island and health awareness in the area is lacking.
This is a large community, and we need to get more persons involved in health and fitness interaction, in health and fitness. Walk, run, exercise, do something healthy, because diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure is taking over the community, and we need people to know that with exercising, it can bring those numbers down.
She also went over the route.
It's going to start from the Sunset Village, east on Bayshore Road, and back to the Jonestown basketball court.
Now prizes will be given out at the Fun Run Walk, and the fitness group will be performing a surprise routine on the day of the walk.
My team and I are putting on a performance, a step aerobic performance out there. So come on and have fun. Let's walk. Let's have fun out there. We're having raffles. So once you register, it's automatic that you are down in the raffle and you can win nice prizes.
Nurses will also be at the Fun Run Walk performing free blood and glucose testing. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
And that walk will start actually 6 o'clock Independence morning. I'm putting this one on our very own LaWanda Burrows down there in the back. She live in 8 Mile Rock. Ain't no excuse why she can't walk and then walk to work. And then when she come in, she'd be nice and sexy. That's going to be it for sports.